What is the whole brain state and why is it important? Well, the whole brain state is when your left and right hemispheres of the brain are open. They're evenly balanced and they're communicating freely. In between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, we have a little bridge, a little connective point. It's called the corpus callosum, in case you're interested. And this is a really critical thing because when the two hemispheres, in order to be in a whole brain state, this corpus callosum has to be clear and open. It works like a bridge. When we are not whole-brained, when we are dominant in one hemisphere or the other, this bridge acts like a barricade and it prevents communication between the two hemispheres. So why is the whole brain state even important? When we're in a whole brain state, that is our optimal way of functioning. It is when our creativity is enhanced, our emotional well-being is improved. It improves our recall ability. It improves our problem-solving ability. All of this happens when we're in that whole brain state. So it essentially allows you to live in a place of balance. And when we are completely balanced, we're healthy, we're not suffering. The ultimate healing is actually when we are in a state of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual balance. And Psych-K processes that achieve this whole brain state, they enhance your ability to generate that state of balance yourself. So what happens is that as we go through life, when we experience things, especially things that aren't very pleasant, the corpus callosum shuts down and we respond to a given situation, specifically from one hemisphere or the other. And that gets locked in as a preferred response. So then in the future, whenever there's a similar situation, or whenever we perceive that the situation is similar, even if it's not, we will follow that pattern that's been established and we will go into that preferred hemisphere. So in order to change that pattern, we need to change the hemispheric preference. And we do that in Psych-K. By going into this process, we establish the whole brain state and we change the perspective on the past. We change the perspective on whatever it is that you're thinking about and looking at. And then that gives you the freedom and the space to choose how you're going to respond. There's a fantastic study that actually illustrates the power of the whole brain state. It was done back in the 80s, in 1987. And in this, they had pairs of people who were in a dark and soundproof Faraday cage. So a Faraday cage, in case you don't know, is it's a setup that means that there can be no EMF transference from inside to outside or vice versa. So they had pairs of people set up in separate Faraday cages that were dark and soundproof. And they measured their brainwave patterning. And they were asking the individuals to try to connect, like telepathically, to the other one. So they did find the brainwaves went into a state of congruence with each other. But what they also found that was quite fascinating is that the individuals who had more of that hemispheric balance, so they were more whole-brained, they actually exerted more influence over their partner. So it means that if you're in a whole brain state, you're broadcasting this to the world around you. And when you're in a whole brain state, you're in a state of balance. It's a good place to be. So by being in this state, you're actually benefiting and you are positively impacting the world around you, which is just a wonderful thing. Thank you.